KCAL9's political reporter Randy Paige is here now with a look at testimony today from constitutional scholars. Randy?
Get out the notebooks. We're going to class. Picture it, 4 constitutional scholars sharing their wisdom on matters of impeachment to a deeply divided audience.
The House Committee on the Judiciary will come to order.
The hearing got off to a rocky start in less than 5 seconds.
Mr. Chairman, you're reserving the right to object.
Objection is noted.
I reserve the right to object.
And after the ranking Republican committee member wagged his finger at the constitutional scholars gathered in front of him,
unless you're really good on TV or watching the hearings for the last couple of weeks, you couldn't have possibly actually digested the Adam Schiff report from yesterday or the Republican response in any real way.
Stanford law professor Pamela Karlan let him have it.
Mr. Collins, I would like to say to you, sir, that I read transcripts of every one of the witnesses who appeared in the live hearing because I would not speak about these things without reviewing the facts. So I'm insulted by the suggestion that as a law professor I don't care about those facts.
The 3 scholars on the left were called by the Democrats. The professor on the right, CBS News legal analyst Jonathan Turley, was called by the Republicans. They spoke passionately about why the Founding Fathers created the process of impeachment for removing a president, and each weighed in on whether or not the evidence against President Trump rose to a high crime or misdemeanor.
Based on that evidence and those findings, the president did commit an impeachable abuse of office.
Same answer.
We 3 are unanimous.
Jonathan Turley offered the only dissenting opinion.
I'm concerned about lowering impeachment standards to fit a paucity of evidence and an abundance of anger.
Professor Turley testified there wasn't enough direct evidence to remove a president. The other professors testified just the opposite.
On the basis of the testimony and the evidence before the House, President Trump has committed impeachable high crimes and misdemeanors.
When President Trump invited, indeed demanded, foreign involvement in our upcoming election, he struck at the very heart of what makes this a republic to which we pledge allegiance.
If what we're talking about is not impeachable, then nothing is impeachable. This is precisely the misconduct that the framers created a constitution, including impeachment, to protect against.
Let's face it, this is a sham impeachment against President Trump.
When the committee members had their turn, the questioning turned partisan.
I'd like you to address the fatal flaws from your perspective.
With each side, for the most part, calling on their own witnesses, asking questions to elicit the answers they were looking for.
Once again, it doesn't meet what I think are the clear standards for obstruction.
It felt like 2 siloed conversations.
Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson describes 2 echo chambers coexisting in the same room.
I thought it was very disappointing that the Democrats really didn't ask that many questions of Professor Turley, and the Republicans really didn't ask that many questions of the professors who were called by the Democrats. And if you wanted to have a full and robust conversation, an exchange of ideas, you wouldn't conduct it this way. If you want to try and create sound bites for the evening news or sound bites for your base, you would set it up this way.
After the hearing, both sides declared victory.
The facts presented at the hearing today were overwhelming and compelling.
The ranking Republican on the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes from California, had this to say on Fox News tonight.
First of all, you have to ask yourself, what the hell are those people doing there?
Yeah.
They don't have any evidence. So you have to ask yourself, what the hell's going on?
President Trump said he was watching the hearing from London.
Well, I did. I saw it, and it's a joke. What they're doing is a very bad thing for our country. It's of no merit. And the Republican Party has never been more unified, ever. They've never been as unified as they are right now.
Well, it appears Democrats aren't wasting any time. We're told today Judiciary Committee members were asked to stay in town this weekend because we're told they may be planning to draft articles of impeachment by next week.
Thank goodness.